Can gaming get any better? What can you do to take your console experience to the next level? Wait, let's add a bit more to the return on investment here. Let's add a cinema experience, built-in speakers, portable, amazing connectivity, 4K HDR. What do we get? Well, this is the BenQ X300G 4K HDR short throw portable console gaming projector with, drumroll please, low input lag. And if you have a large enough wall, you can immerse yourself in an incredible 120-inch gaming and movie experience at home with this very small box with a slight asterisk. Now, say incredible experience, but there are some drawbacks. But before that, let me start off by saying big thanks to BenQ for sending this projector for review. I always wanted to test out a gaming projector because, let's be honest, projectors have not been known for a great gaming experience, but the X300G is advertised as such. Now, for some technology context, short throw projectors are rapidly growing in popularity. However, gaming hasn't been at the top of the projector agenda until recently, and secondly, the projector market has been flooded with cheap short throw projectors that end up putting people off both projectors and of course gaming on them. Now, short and ultra short throw projectors have low and ultra short throw ratios. A projector's throw ratio is defined as the distance measured from lens to screen divided by the width of the image that it will cast. Further to that, projectors like this BenQ are LED projectors, which directly generate colors by combining LEDs in 3 colors of light: red, green, and blue. Now, this solution provides a wider color palette that results in, I guess, both natural and vivid colors, and this is absolutely the case here. The BenQ X300G is meant to be used at home in rooms that are not built with projectors in mind. So you can throw it on a chair or desk, point it at an empty wall, and you're good to go. Now, with all that out of the way, in this video I'll cover the BenQ features, gaming and movie experience, types of materials as screens, the drawbacks of the device, performance, and finally, my recommendation to you who might be exploring projectors for gaming, hence you've clicked on this video. So make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get started by rolling the intro. Let me get the price point out of the way. Projectors are not cheap. The BenQ X300G retails for around 2,999 Australian dollars. For what it's worth, the features and performance are well priced compared to the competition. So let's dive in. What do you get for that dollar figure? Well, a 4K UHD resolution at 16:9 aspect ratio, HDR10 3D capabilities, DCI-P3 coverage at 84%, a contrast ratio of 600,000 to 1, and like with any other projector, a life of the light emitting hardware at about 20,000 hours on normal and in 30,000 on eco mode, but I would suggest to you not to use eco mode. It technically has 2 HDMI ports, but one is public. The other is for the swappable BenQ branded Android stick that is housed internally, but comes in the box. Both are HDMI 2.0B type and unfortunately no 2.1. This helps to reduce the overall cost, but unfortunately eliminates features like auto low latency mode and variable refresh rates. On the same side, it has a standard USB port for your memory sticks that may hold some media content and a USB-C port that supports a power delivery of 5 volts 1 amp. The Android experience is like any other. You can download your favorite media apps, Plex, YouTube, Netflix, and Prime. Performance, on the other hand, is pretty laggy at times. But as far as choosing what you want to watch, clicking, then sitting back, it's good enough. Speaking of TV, you can use it as a Chromecast or AirPlay. The built-in Wi-Fi is fast enough to stream the latest 4K content, supporting 2.4G and 5G. I had no speed warnings on Plex, so it all worked perfectly. It comes with 2 inbuilt 8-watt symmetrical speakers and a passive suspension radiator for that glorious low-frequency response. Bar marketing speak, I assume it is a little bass drive right on the bottom. And oh boy, can it pump out some sound. After all, it's portable, so my expectations were actually quite low. But the spatial audio capabilities made the audio sound quite full. And in a small room, it kind of felt like it was all around you rather than in one location. So take it on holiday with you and you won't need to pack an external speaker. Though if you are home and want to enjoy a more cinematic experience, having your own speakers would be better. The projector has eARC, so you can connect it to your own sound system, and it includes Bluetooth support, of course. Now, outside the Android TV experience, your gaming console or computer will sort out its own audio via the HDMI or external means, and via the remote, it works like any other TV. You change sources to choose what you want to play from. Let's move on to projection. Brightness of the BenQ hits 2000 ANSI lumens. Now, ANSI lumens are how bright that light is when it makes its way out of the projector onto a surface. And this is very important and also more accurate than SI lumens. Now, some cheap projector manufacturers will only advertise the lumen output of the light source to mislead customers about how bright their product is. They may advertise a budget projector as having 2,500 lumens, but in fact, the actual light output is only 750 lumens at the screen. Now, based on this chart, the BenQ sits right at the green for the 100-inch and 120-inch screen for a room with medium ambient light. However, this chart does not take into account that BenQ is a short throw projector, so it will perform a little bit better. To note, a cinema screen can go up to 60,000 ANSI lumens. Now, the X300G can project a screen size of up to 120 inches with the 1x optical but motorized zoom. But for gaming, it's best to size it at 100 inches at 1x optical zoom. And this is for best performance, both from a light and brightness point of view, but also colors. Because at 120 inches, you do lose a bit of sharpness around the edges. And in saying that, my suggestion is to use that size for watching movies, TV shows, and actually Nintendo games out of all of them. Lastly, and more importantly for gamers, input lag. The second Achilles heel of a projector, but not in this one. First heel being a bright room. More on that in a moment. The input lag is as follows: 16.7 milliseconds at 1080p 60Hz, which is actually the same at 4K 60Hz. Then we get 4.2 milliseconds at 1080p at 240Hz, 8.3 milliseconds at 1080p 120Hz, and the same for 1440p at 120Hz. That's right, gamers, 240 Hz at 1080p with 4.2 milliseconds of lag. And then, 120 Hz at 1440p is only 8.3 milliseconds because, for context and without cherry picking, my 65-inch Sony X90L at 4K 60Hz with 10-bit HDR and game mode enabled sports 17.8 milliseconds input lag. And then my TCL, the only other TV, 75-inch mini LED TV, sports 1080p at 120Hz with 6.4 millisecond input lag, but it does have VRR, so there's a lot of give and take here. The BenQ X300G absolutely stacks up with input lag, so we can put that to bed. However, I do have some recommendations on which modes to use to play what games and devices. For mouse and keyboards, first-person shooter gaming such as Doom on the PC, 1440p at 120Hz is incredible. For controller-based games on the PS5, 4K 60Hz is brilliant. Nintendo games can be played at their native 1080p for a great experience. But in my mind, large format portable gaming is where the BenQ X300G really shines. I really should stop saying the whole name. If you plug in an ROG Ally or a Nintendo Switch into the USB-C port, not only does it charge the device, or at least stop it from discharging to zero while in use, it also manages the display size. So you get portable gaming on a giant screen at whatever resolution and frame rate the game and device supports, without multiple adapters and docks. Basically, a Mario Kart party for the whole crew outside with only one power cable. At 4K 60Hz, the input lag was as much as my TV, and I was used to it. I didn't notice any difference while playing the projector, and gameplay was smooth and responsive, but even I wouldn't be playing a competitive shooter on a TV, let alone a projector at 4K 60 frames anyway. So single-player games like Horizon Forbidden West were a great experience on here. Elden Ring is a pleasure to play at the size, but in performance mode, of course. Hogwarts is another title, does well in here with the colors and magic. So as long as you're in a dark, and I really mean dark room, the colors will pop, but only then. Now, there is one more variable, and that's the projector screen material or wall. Driving games claim the podium here. With a wheel and pedal, the projector gives you a 120-inch screen that has a cinematic experience when driving those cars. And honestly, I don't care that some of the corners don't have perfect details. I just want the center to be perfect. Competitive play isn't left behind. Configuring Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, for example, to 120Hz takes this to the next level, and in turn, it does set the resolution to 1440p, enabling you to have the edge in games and a high refresh rate. And I have to admit, I was actually really surprised how well it performed. Now, I mentioned Doom earlier, and as far as PC gaming goes, I can definitely recommend playing some first-person shooters via your PC on this projector. Doom, being a fast-paced shooter, played well, though I don't think you'll be beating Nightmare mode without some frustrations. Now, there are some drawbacks in both gaming and general use. I tried Anno 1800, a city builder, top-down, and unfortunately some small text and small items around the edges had issues with clarity, even though the X300G has an automated focus system. I would say it was 98% perfect and required some adjustment, which is possible with the remote. The projector also has auto keystoning, which allows it to blast a 16.9 image no matter what angle you place the projector in front of the wall, though within reason, of course, and that reason being max 40 degrees. I would say auto keystoning gets you 90% of the way there, and sometimes you need to adjust it by 1 or 2 points. I found the rotation was always off by either way, but the angle was spot on. When you do place the projector on such a sharp angle, the edges that are furthest away tend to lose focus and create blurry corners, and you can really see the beam split into their 3 RGB colors at the edge. So having the projector facing the wall on as much of a 90-degree angle as possible is the best way to enjoy this projector. Now, of course, this is why BenQ specifically recommends the projector to be as close to the wall at 90 degrees and then fire out a 100-inch image for gaming rather than 120-inch. Now, in my movie testing, I can happily sit at 120 inches, but for the best gaming experience, tuning the motorized zoom down to 1x and the projector close to the wall gets a sharper, brighter, and clearer image, so go with that. To that end, the projector has multiple picture modes: 3D, brightness, cinema, FPS, HDR, FPS, HDR, RPG, HDR, SPG, HDR10, RPG, SPG. In the end, it really depends what looks good to you. I found the HDR to be best overall. The HDR10 worked really great for certain films and supported games on the PS5. The rest just depended on the content. It is really quick and easy to change that with the remote. And the remote is usable, though the response from pressing things feel quite laggy, especially the Android TV. However, the remote has all the needed buttons, plus it is backlit, which really helps when this projector needs to be used in complete darkness. Speaking of darkness, like with any other projector, having a dark room is a must. And in this case here, the slightest light can really affect the image. And so unless you have a room with blackout blinds, daytime gaming is going to be a bit difficult. The build quality is good. The device feels solid, and the only thing that I found weird is the location of the lens here, which is at the top right corner. This means you have to position the projector much lower where you want the bottom of the image being projected, and there's no way to aim it down, only up, because of the kickstand only aims up. It does have a screw mount on the bottom, which means you can mount it upside down and then or achieve a rear projection with a few clicks. Now, of course, being portable, the best location to put this on is actually a shoebox on the floor. Since it may sit close to the floor, let's talk fans. The fans do definitely ramp up, but the speaker is able to go above and beyond with the sound built in over the top of the cooling fans. You have to be really close to the projector to have the fans cause you any annoyance, and generally they fade into the background with the content audio. I also expect to suck up quite a bit of dust over time, so keep in mind you may need to clean it with some compressed air at some point. Finally, let's talk projector screens, and this topic alone could be a whole video, so I'll keep it short. There are multiple types of projector screens, more specifically the screen material. There is matte white, the most popular and low cost, high contrast grey or ambient light rejecting material, which is the most expensive, ranging from $500 to well over 8,000 Australian dollars. Now, there's also another type mainly used for ultra short throw projectors that have microscopic ridges to catch the light from low angles, but let's ignore that for today. In complete darkness, I tested the X300G on a white wall, matte grey wall, high contrast grey material, and ambient light rejection material that I got as a sample because I wasn't going to pay $8,000 for a full-size one. Now, I found the two greys create a much dimmer projection, so I don't recommend them. The ambient light rejecting material, that was really good, but due to the cost, not really relevant for this projector. My best experience was on a wall with a matte feather white paint that I got from Bunnings. Yes, in fact, I repainted my entire wall here for this project, and it was well worth the effort. I sanded it and coated it twice with a microfiber roller, and the X300G looked fantastic on this wall. But let's not complicate things. A white projector screen is absolutely perfect, or a white wall. You'll be fine. So, $3,000, hey, is it worth the price of admission? Well, I think this is an extremely capable gaming projector. I would actually highly recommend this to anyone wanting a big gaming console experience, but with the knowledge that it should not be used in a bright room, and it is portable, so you take it with you to places. So in a dark room or an evening backyard gaming event, you get great colors, good brightness, low input lag on gaming, and overall awesome movie experience with no external speakers required. Comparably, as a short throw projector at home, the X300G keeps up with the big boy projectors, which cost well over $5,000. But it does take some shortcuts on paper specifications. All the while without getting rid of the keywords 4K, HDR, and low input gaming. So friends, thank you very much for watching. Links below where you can find the X300G. Huge thanks to BenQ for sending the projector for review. Last but not least, thanks to you guys, the subscribers who have been watching this channel. Make sure to like this video if you did, and if you haven't subscribed already, make sure to tap that subscribe button. That does really support this channel. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in another one. Bye!